So, the philosophy I decided to choose is perennialism, which is one of the three that I tested a little bit higher on the philosophic survey that can be found on pages 132 and 133. And just kind of looking at the explanations for that type of philosophy, I think of an educator that may be a little bit more on the strict end of how they teach to their classes or students. I just kind of think of a no nonsense type of teaching style. So, examples of this could be like having no cell phones out, or maybe in my case, if they're eating in a gym, they gotta put it away just because that's not what the gym is for. They're here for physical activity and not eating. Um, and you just kind of want to make sure that everyone is on the same page as you, making sure that everyone's listening, voices are off when the educator is talking, and so on. And they do that just so that they can make sure that students are getting the most out of their educational experience for learning. So I just kind of look at a couple other questions here. How would this teacher teach? So if I may, I would use an example of myself. A couple months ago, actually, I should say at the beginning of the year, actually. So I think of bubble numbers, which is something that I made at the beginning of the year for my students. They are assigned spots that they sit at when they first come into the gym so that they know what to first expect when they come into the gym facility, just to kind of develop a routine and just kind of making sure that I know that they're already on the same page when they come into the gym, making sure that they're not running around or goofing off, things like that. And when I come in the gym, another thing I do is I focus on something I do is a clapping transition. So something like if you can hear my voice, clap once, students will clap. I see where we're at. It could be 75% of the class, 80% of the class, but it may not be 100. So just to make sure everyone's on the same page, I'll do it again. I'll do it again. Eventually, it may take 2 or 3 tries, but I usually don't have to clap long at all. A lot of the time I actually have to do it one time, but I like to do it 2 times just to make sure, just to double check that everyone is on the same page with me. And I guess you could say, the other thing it asks, teacher-centered or student-centered. It helps me when I am teaching just because I know that everybody is listening at the time. But I would also say it's a little bit student-centered as well too. And the reason why I say that as well too is I'm really focused on my directions that I give to students. I'm very precise and direct with what I am teaching, and I want to make sure that they're getting the most out of what I am explaining for what that unit may entail or activities that we are doing for that day. And then what would the teacher teach? What does the teacher believe is knowledge? So I guess with that question right there, what does the teacher believe is knowledge? I just simply focus on the things that I am teaching. Like I said, very direct, very precise. Let's take jump roping unit, for example. Very specific on what we teach. Some students may not have done it in the past, so giving directions like keeping your elbows in, keeping them tight. You do the jumping together, which is something that we did when we first started out. And then, of course, you see where everyone's at. You make progressions and regressions along the way, just based off of what you see and where the student is at, based off of their experience. And with that, you can help them grow. Although you have them doing a regression, it can help them build to what you were teaching originally, or if that student needs that challenge, you have a progression. But I look at it this way too. Whether if they're doing an easier version or harder version, they're all there for the same thing. When it comes to achieving jump roping, which was my example, they're all there for the same thing, trying to accomplish the same thing. They're just doing it with a different type of activity or modification for that sort. And then I kind of look at the last question here. Why would this teacher teach? What motivates them? So I look at the results. I want the students to get the most out of their education. So I look at, sorry. So what motivates them is just the results that they get. And let's just go back to jump roping. So obviously, the more you practice something, the better you're going to get at it. May not be always the case, but a lot of the time it is. And just watching them grow throughout is very rewarding for me, but also them as well too, because I also get a lot of Mr. Kramer, watch me, Mr. Kramer, watch me. I also think of my coaching job as well too, as a head strength and conditioning coach at the high school, and I am now coaching kids that were freshmen when I first started that are going to be seniors, and I've just kind of seen those results just skyrocket throughout the years, which is absolutely awesome. But I look at them too, just because of the way that I coach them. With me, you got to stay dedicated, you got to stay disciplined, you got to stay on track. You can't be goofing around. You got to make sure that you're treating your body right and taking responsibility for your actions. So with that, teaching style that I've had, or that philosophy that I've had, I've been able to watch students grow tremendously because of that, which is not only great for them, but great for me as well too, because it's something that I've gotten to see throughout the years. Whether if it is at the high school or the gym that I teach at the elementary level. What do they believe about students? And I kind of talked about it, but I just believe in the potential that they have, the growth that they can build, the experiences that they have, the personal experiences that they have that they like, don't like. They can grow from those. They can learn from those experiences, and just achieve more with what they have seen and done. Like for me in the gym class, or like I just said earlier, in the weight room. So those are just some facts right there. Again, I decided to choose a perennialism type of philosophy, which is a little bit more on the strict end of philosophies, which focuses more on like general truths, but like based off of like the teaching styles. It's kind of like a no nonsense type of deal. Very disciplined, but also a very effective way. It's a way that I've used throughout the years, or I should say the couple of years, but also the years I've had as a strength and conditioning coach too. And it's just really cool to see the students grow with that teaching style that I've had and philosophies. So those are just some general facts. I know this video is obviously longer than expected. Of course, if you got questions, let me know.